Someone described a biblical prophet as one who comforted the disturbed and disturbed the comfortable. Such a prophet was Jeremiah. He lived at a time when Israel was being threatened from within by corruption and from without by a military superpower. The situation pained Jeremiah because he loved his country and he loved its people. Perhaps this is why God called Jeremiah to be a prophet to his friends and neighbors. In any event, Jeremiah accepted God's call with great reluctance. He knew the difficulty of being a prophet in one's own country, and so Jeremiah began to preach. He told the people bluntly that their only hope for survival was to reform their lives and to turn to God for help. This angered the people, who said in effect, "Who does Jeremiah think he is, passing judgment on us, his own countrymen?" The situation got so bad that on one occasion, the authorities flogged Jeremiah publicly. On another occasion, they put him in stocks. And on a third occasion, they threw him into a dungeon. Jesus, too, experienced the difficulty and the pain of being a prophet in his own country. He too experienced the rejection of friends and neighbors. For example, today's gospel shows us what happened when Jesus preached his very first sermon in his hometown after returning from being baptized in the Jordan by John the Baptist. When Jesus stood up and told his friends and neighbors that the Spirit of the Lord was upon him and that he was fulfilling the scriptures, they were shocked. A wave of disbelief swept across the synagogue. The people began to whisper to one another, "Isn't this Joseph's son? Isn't he like us, a poor villager of Nazareth? Who does he think he is, pretending to be a prophet? What are his credentials to prove that he is God's appointed, not self-appointed?" Then the whispers grew louder and louder. Soon they became shouts, and suddenly the situation snowballed out of control. St. Luke writes in his gospel, "They rose up, drove Jesus out of the town, and led him to the brow of the hill on which their town had been built, to hurl him down headlong. But he passed through the midst of them and went away." St. Luke's description of Jesus' first preaching experience in Nazareth brings the starry-eyed Christian down to earth with a thud. But as we meditate on it, we suddenly remember those disturbing words that the old man Simeon uttered when Jesus was presented in the temple. Simeon said, "This child is a sign which will be contradicted." Those words would echo and re-echo during the preaching ministry of Jesus. For just as the townspeople of Nazareth challenged Jesus' prophetic credentials, so the religious leaders of Israel challenged Jesus' orthodoxy time after time. And just as the townspeople of Nazareth accused Jesus of speaking falsely, almost to the point of blasphemy, So the Pharisees accused him of being an instrument of the devil himself. And just as the townspeople of Nazareth tried to kill Jesus for what he was saying, so the townspeople of Jerusalem would shout, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Jesus was indeed a person whom many opposed and spoke against. Simeon's words about the infant Jesus dogged the man Jesus all his life. How does all this apply to us? Jesus made the application himself. He said to his disciples, "If the world hates you, realize that it hated me first. No slave is greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you." Anyone who tries to lead a Christian life today knows how true this is. Take young people in high school or college. It isn't long before some of them feel in their own lives the impact of what Jesus was talking about. Ask them what happens when they try to remain honest in an exam, as others around them are cheating. Ask them what happens when they try to remain chaste at a party, and others around them are doing otherwise. Ask them what happens when they speak out against abortion, and others around them are defending it. Ask them what happens when they speak out against discrimination, and others around them are assassinating the character of minorities. And what's true of young people is also true of older ones. We've all experienced rejection and persecution for our faith at some times in our lives. But we can't let this keep us from being honest and chaste. We can't let this keep us from defending the rights of the unborn or of minorities. And the reason is very clear. Jesus said to his followers on the Sermon on the Mount, "You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world." They do not light a lamp and then put it under a bushel basket. It is set on a lampstand. And so, your light must shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your heavenly Father. Our vocation, our calling as Christians, is to be prophets of the Father in our world, just as Jesus was a prophet of the Father in his world. This is what our baptism and our confirmation are all about. To paraphrase the words of St. Paul, in a world of darkness, we Christians are called by God to shine like stars. Let's close with a prayer that expresses the feelings of everyone who has ever tried to follow Jesus faithfully. Lord, give us your love, for sometimes people reject us and we are tempted to hate. Lord, give us your strength, for sometimes situations get tough and we are tempted to give up. Lord, give us your courage, for sometimes pressure gets heavy and we are tempted to give in. Lord, help us be like salt for everyone and a light for the whole world. Lord, in a world of darkness, help us shine like stars. May God bless each and every one of you.